Hey guys, I wanted to answer the question, are bookkeeping businesses profitable? Okay, someone asked me this recently because they were thinking about starting their business, but they really did not know whether or not it was profitable, whether or not it was worth their time. And I'm here to say, it's one of the best business models to start, especially if it's your first business or even if it's your second business, right? And maybe your first business, for example, like me, like a lot of years ago, I was into e-commerce, right? And I was trying to have this online website, and I was going to run ads to it, and I was trying to get people to buy the products and services, and it was so expensive. So yeah, I'd be making or selling like $14,000 a month, which sounds really cool on paper, but at the end of the day, I was actually losing $2,000 in my bank account because the expenses were so high and there was a lot of hidden costs that I just didn't really know how to handle. And when I started my bookkeeping business and I actually started making it be successful, it was the exact opposite. It was almost like the profit margins were just ridiculous, right? And we'll talk about how to expand those profit margins in a minute. But if you want some help growing your accounting or bookkeeping business, and you want to avoid all the mistakes that cause most people to struggle, go ahead and click on the link below to see schedule a time to see if I can help you go and grow your business. Okay. But anyways, now let's kind of dive into this thing. Okay. So number one, the amount of profit you're going to make is very similar to any other business. You have to be able to control your expenses. So number one, from $0 to about $12,000 per month, the expense level should be relatively low. Okay. Now, first off, you don't need an office. I was talking to this one lady, and she got an office. She's paying like $1,000 a month, but she had 0 clients. I'm like, what? She's like, well, I thought it would make me official. And I'm like, no, man, that's not needed. So right there, if you're starting out, do not go buy an office. I don't care. Right there, I just saved you 12 grand. Right there, I just saved you 12 grand, if not more, depending on where you live. Now, next thing, generally, your profit margin is going to be really dependent on how many of the tools you actually have the client pay for. For example, generally it's going to be software tools like LastPass, payment processor fees, bookkeeping software fees, office supplies, social media. Social media is free. So if you're using it at the beginner stage, you're not advertising. So that right there, those expenses are so low. Okay. And for a lot of those, you can actually have your client pick it up. For example, you can actually have your client pay for their QuickBooks Online, which is just like the general bookkeeping and general accounting software that I recommend my students use, especially if they're just getting started, if they don't really know anything else. As you get more advanced, you can start doing, QuickBooks Desktop. You can do different versions. You can use Xero. Some people like using Sage. It just depends on your preference after you get a certain level and after you get to a certain point. But the point of that is you can have your client actually pay for those tools. Now, the next thing, oh yeah, I forgot. Other one is parking fees. So sometimes what happens is when you get a new client, maybe they might want you to come pick up some documents. So you might have to go and put it in the meter real quick. But even then, that's not that expensive. But I did want to include that in there because that is a fee that at least when I was getting started was incurred heavily. Next would be like marketing brochures or letter marketing or business cards. Another one could be your website. Now, if I'm getting started, do not go and spend $5,000 on your website. Do not go and spend $5,000 on your website. It is not needed. You can go to a website like Fiverr and go pick one up for a lot less. Okay. Like my website for one of my businesses, it only cost me about, I think it was like $150. It took the guy 3 days. I basically just told him to use these words. I gave him the words to say. I told him what design I liked, and it was so quick. Versus there's a lot, when I was first getting started, there was this one lady who was like, I can do website design. I'll charge you $300 an hour. And it's a minimum of 7 hours worth of work. And I'm like, what? You're charging me $2,100 for a website, and it's not even going to get me clients? Okay, so in this video alone, I have saved you over $15,000 at this point. And that's all going back into your bottom line. It's going to add to your profit margins. The next thing that's going to allow you to be able to make your business more profitable is one, what is your spread? So what I mean by a spread is when you're first getting started, depending on how many clients you get and the type of clients as well as the type of work, your time is going to be utilized very, very differently. For example, what I found comfortably when I work with my students and tell them how to price their work, they're able to get up to about 12 grand a month pretty comfortably while still working, their old job. right? After about 12 grand a month, they start wanting to either like leave their job and they have a lot more time and they don't really think about money anymore, and slash or they start really thinking about, are they going to try and expand to like 25 grand a month, 30 grand a month, and what that really looks like. Now, if you're at that phase when you're starting to think about, hey, I'm either running out of time and slash or I'm just trying to go to the next level, the next thing you have to think about is, what is your spread? Okay, now when I'm talking about spread, I'm talking about what is the difference between how much you are charging the client versus what are you paying to your subcontractor. Now, a way that we like to expand our time and be able to grow our business without directly like increasing the amount of hours that we're working is we like to subcontract out the work or bring on like a local either bookkeeper or local accountant to do some of the work that we no longer wish to do, or the stuff that takes 99% of our time. Now, when you do that, pricing is very, very, very important. So our goal is always to be able to go and charge at least $50 per hour. Okay, some students are more. We have some students charging $125 every single hour that they work on the potential client's books. Now, the reason why we're trying to get above 50 is because if you multiply if you multiply 50 by 2080, it gets to be about $104,000. Now, most people that's a good starting point for their business if they can get to $104,000 in their first year. Now, with the clients that we're getting, for the students, like we just show them how to get bigger and bigger and bigger clients who need more and more work and who need just larger services. So it allows you to be able to go and charge these guys like Mike just picked up a client who needs about 20 hours worth of work. Mike usually charges about 125. I think he gave the guy like a $25 per hour discount because the guy was just getting started. So we charge about $100 per hour. One second. Oh, my phone's right there. Let me see this math real quick. So $100 per hour times 20 hours per week, so 0.002 times 4. It's about an 8 grand a month client, right there. Okay. And outside, like there's no tools that he really paid. He didn't have to pay for advertising, unlike with an e-commerce store, to pay for advertising. He didn't have to go pay like Amazon fees. He didn't have to go. He didn't have to go and order like. Yeah, he didn't have to go and do something like go and get like lawnmowers or lawn equipment or a truck to go and carry his supplies. It was literally just, hey, do you want some help? Yeah, you do? Here's how much it costs. Cool. Now the difference is going to be the spread. So we're looking for him to go and get a bookkeeper that can at least do about $25 per hour maximum is what the bookkeeper is going to charge him for that amount of work. So his spread is $75 per hour he's going to be bringing in passively. So not only is it not taking a lot of his time, but it is extremely profitable. And that's really what our goal is, guys. We're trying to go and run this business full time. A lot of people, when they're asking this question, like what business is the most profitable, I asked that question about 7 years ago because I was like, there has to be a better way, because I was working my job and I was like, this sucks. Right, I have really weird energy kind of levels. So sometimes I'll be like just like at like a 10, then other times I'll be like at a 2, and it's not the same time every single day, and it's just very weird. So working the corporate 9 to 5 just wasn't great for me, and it wasn't that I was like a bad worker. It just wasn't in alignment with my life, right? And a lot of people that I work with and that come into my mentorship program, they're in the same spot to where. It's not that the job necessarily sucks. It's just they know that they could be doing more with their life. They know they could be doing better. For example, like Audrey. Audrey was doing about, I think it was like $30,000 a year in her job when she first joined the program. I don't know if I said it in this video, but she signed on 2 clients last week for $2,800 per month each. And she was already doing like what? I think she was doing like $5,500 before then. She's at $11,100 per month now. She should be making 30 grand a year. She makes over $11,000 per month now. Like there's no other business model that's like that, and it's ridiculous. She doesn't even have that many clients. That's only like I think she has like 7 clients total, and she makes $11,000 a month. And she's able to go and spend time with her family. She's able to go and travel across the United States. She can work from wherever she wants. She can work whenever she wants. It's just one of the best business models ever. Now, for most people to get it started, it is extremely challenging, right? Because at least when I got started, I didn't know what to do. I was trying to go to networking events, and I was trying to go and like mail off postcards, and I would be like cold calling businesses that I would find off Google. but it just seemed like I just never really knew exactly what words to say in order to get them to want to work with me. And whenever I would kind of present my pricing and stuff, it would just be so hard to get them to go. But now it's kind of like, for me, I spent about $35,000 plus in my first year of doing this, because I just bought courses. I just bought so much stuff in order to make sure that I could like figure out how to make it work. And that's when things started opening up, because it's kind of like there's only really three things that you need, right? And the first thing is you need to know what you're offering. You need to have like what's called a value-based offer. Now that just means that you know exactly what you're selling and why it's important to the other person. What is the value to the other person? Once you're able to do that, you can start charging just way more dollars. Especially like this guy. He charges $125 an hour, and the guy has a minimum of 20 hours per week. And the person charging $125 an hour doesn't have to do any of the work. He gets a free $75 an hour. And the other person knows that. The person who's paying him knows that he's not doing the work. But the second thing that you need, right, is what's called a predictable source of leads. All that means is you need to know exactly where your leads are going to be coming from before you go put in your effort, your energy, and your time. Especially if maybe you're working like a full-time job right now and you only have, the hours of 6 o'clock to, let's say you go to bed at 10, 6 to 10, right? Because you're working your full day. You probably have an hour drive back home. Then you have, just some hours that maybe you're dealing with the kids. Maybe you're helping the kids go to sleep. You're helping the kids with their homework. And you have a limited amount of hours, right? This is the easiest way to do it. You only need to have 5 people that you're working with. And you're making anywhere between $7,000 to $10,000 per month. And some people watching that might be like, well, no, Bryce, there's no way. There's no way. And it's just because, a lot of people don't know how to do this correctly. And that's why you partner with someone like myself, because it's just like, oh my gosh, man. I looked at this one lady, her name is Melly. And when she first came to me, she had like 30 clients, right? And she was only doing about, I think it was like $5,000 to $7,000 a month. And it's because like she didn't really know how to price when she was first getting started. So she was charging this guy like $150 a month. Some of them she was charging $150 a quarter. I was like, no. No. And then what we basically had to do was I gave her a pricing calculator so she knew exactly what to charge. And then I had to give her like a sales script and kind of like we did like some mindset work around money, right? Because she was really, really nervous about money and asking for money. Because, when she was growing up, as a lot of us are, like money can be very, very tight. And, certain things that either our parents say or that we learn from the world cause us to view money a certain way. And some people view money to be very, very scarce. So for her, we really had to just give her some, like, not only some proof and just be like, dude, this is how much, like, people are willing to pay so much money. It's ridiculous. And once you kind of got that, and it did take a while because, what we ended up having to do was I ended up telling her to go and charge this guy $125 an hour. And the guy, and then she's like, no, there's no way. That's how much I charge people for a month. And I'm like, yeah, but this guy doesn't care about money. She's like, what? So he doesn't care about money. So she charged him $125 an hour. And the guy basically in the first week paid her $6,000. Because he did 1 week, but then she charged him for the second week so he could like kind of prepay for it, because he basically baselined the number of hours per week based on that first week. So that's when she was like, oh, I had no idea I could charge that much money to people. And kind of going back to the topic of pricing, people ask, is this business profitable? It really can be if you're doing it right. If you're keeping it lean, you're not prematurely buying a building, you're not going and, charging somebody, $10 an hour, then paying your contractors $9 an hour, only making like a $1 spread. And then if you just live frugally, like we have people where it's like they pay their entire bills after only about 90 days of working together. And they don't have to worry about insurance. They don't have to worry about, is the economy going to crash? They don't have to worry about, are they going to have to get a job? They don't have to worry about like their savings, because they're making so much money above their bills. And since so profitable, the biggest thing you have to worry about with this business is actually taxes. Especially when you're first starting out. Always got to take money out for taxes. And that's actually the hidden cost, right? That's the biggest cost, is taxes and inflation. But other than that, is this business profitable? It's one of the most profitable businesses on the planet. I think there's only one or two business models that are more profitable. Maybe like, actually no, because like I was gonna say like insurance. But insurance, you have to actually buy the office. You have to have a certain amount of capital in order to open and buy into the franchise. You have to pay money for ads, to buy leads. They generally sell their leads for about $15 per. So yeah, no, like bookkeeping is actually the cheapest. Bookkeeping and monthly accounting services is the cheapest business to get started, actually. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, if you don't buy an office first. If you don't buy an office, this is the most profitable business model I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen a lot. Okay, awesome, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Once again, if you want some help growing your business from someone who's been there, if you want to go and be able to reach your goal without having to make all the mistakes that I made, or even some of my oldest students made when they were first getting started, go ahead and click on the link below to book a call with me to see exactly if and how I can help you out. I'd love to see you on the call. Love to talk to you soon. Have a great day.